Hello, YouTube. It's been like 13 months and I just filmed this whole video, but it ended up being way too long and I thought I could just, get to it, I guess. But this is why I left the K-pop fandom, which is sort of why I left YouTube. There's a lot of reasons why I stopped making YouTube videos. Some stuff going on in my personal life at the time, and just a general lack of motivation. But I think that kind of lack of motivation to make the videos definitely stemmed from this. So, why I left the K-pop fandom. I got into K-pop around 2013, 2014, and the groups I was first really into were SHINee, which I still love, EXO, which has always been my favorite, GOT7, just great. I've kind of fell out of them in the past couple of years because all their songs sound exactly the same. And most importantly, BTS. Throughout the years of being a K-pop fan, I've definitely had an interesting experience that I think the kind of like casual K-pop fan doesn't get. But basically, being a super K-pop fan, you have like the news sites and the forums and obviously my videos and Instagram and Twitter, where you all communicate with each other. But sometimes things go not so good. So the first really bad fan interaction I had was, I think, I said something on Instagram in 2015, and people just got really mad about it. Someone shared the post somewhere. It was basically something about a K-pop group, something I didn't like, etc. Me judging something. And of course, in the K-pop fandom, you can't say anything bad about anything ever, or else you'll get like 1,000 people breathing down your neck about it. So that happened, and I was like, wow, that's peculiar. And then another time, I'd said something in one of my YouTube videos about how one member of the group wasn't my favorite member. We all have favorite members of the groups. Don't pretend like you don't have a favorite member. And then that time, it was like thousands of people on my Twitter, on my Instagram. I had to like disable everything just until people forgot about it, basically. And then still a year later, someone was like talking about it. I kind of became looped in with those like Koreaboo people, which is basically a word used to like put down people that are just a little bit too interested in Korean culture. Basically people that like want to be Korean. And never in my whole life have I ever wanted to be Korean. I'm pretty okay with who I am. But I guess apparently being a little bit too interested in learning Korean, being too interested in Korean culture, music, food, history, traditions, I guess that means that you just want to be Korean at that point, because it's not like, historians are Koreaboos, I don't know. Essentially, there was really no break from the hate, but it was online, and I experienced bullying in my real life, my whole life, at school, and I can always talk about that another time. But the online hate never stopped, and to say it doesn't bother me at all isn't necessarily true, because it's tiring, because you want to see positive comments. You want to see comments that are like, I want to see more videos of you doing this. I thought this was really helpful. Like, something or like, oh, this made me laugh today. Something that's just positive or constructive rather than just go die, you white mayo cracker. And it just gets tiring. And I didn't really think much of it. I put up with it until 2017, before I went to Korea. I was at a BTS concert. I can't remember if this was the last concert I ever went to. Let's just say this was the last concert I ever went to. Surely the last BTS concert I'll ever go to. Before the concert, I was waiting outside there was supposed to be a flash mob, but it was canceled because it was really cold. And it was like March or something. And these girls came up to me and they said, "Aren't you that cunt from online?" And then they named my then username. And I was like, you don't just go up to someone and like say that. Like, obviously they don't have moms that raise them, right? But like, it was so shocking to be approached in person that way that I just was like stunned and I couldn't say anything. And I tell people about that and they're like, I would have punched them. And like, going back, I probably would have. But it's like, that's just like so shocking for someone you don't even know to come up to you in public and say something like that to your face. Like, that's brave. That just really put like a permanent stain on the BTS fandom for me. Not that all fans are like that, but if you look on Twitter, most BTS fans are like that. They will not accept any criticism, anything anyone says against the group. If you don't know what K-pop is and you pronounce one of the members' names wrong, you will have all of those people in your mentions. I watch a lot of Minecraft on YouTube. I love Minecraft, and I have since it came out. And this one Minecraft YouTuber, he like said something about like Jungkook. He like pronounced it poorly. And he didn't know who it was. He was just like, oh, the BTS fans. And they like swamped his Twitter for days, like hundreds of thousands of BTS fans. And it's like, that kind of toxic energy radiates throughout the whole K-pop fandom. Like, no matter what group you're a fan of, it's all of them. I've had EXO fans come up to me like that. It's usually BTS fans though. People used to like make fun of like the Ariana Grande fans, the Taylor Swift fans as being like two very toxic fan bases, which is true. But now it's BTS, which basically means all of K-pop, because BTS has taken storm over the world. Whenever anyone thinks K-pop, it's no longer Gangnam Style, it's BTS. And there isn't anyone that doesn't know BTS. They're on SNL. They're like doing legit things internationally and are extremely popular. It's kind of mind-boggling considering I was like an original fan. I saw them in 2014 at a very small concert, and I got to take a picture with them and talk to them. To think they've gone from that to this, whatever they are now, is pretty insane. It's not that I don't like them anymore because they're more popular, because they're more mainstream. I think that when they became more mainstream, their music changed to fit the international market a little bit better. And I still listen to K-pop 90% of the time. The other 10% is like alternative music or like music from like 2005. So it's like this music thing, like I still listen to it, you know, but it's just, so the BTS fan base has really destroyed K-pop fan bases. They all bleed into one another. It's a very toxic place. When I went to Korea that same year, summer of 2017, which I have vlogs every single day, which is fun, I kind of had like a wake-up call moment about like, I already kind of did before, but I just kind of had an even more like, wow, this is shitty. When you're there in Korea, you're kind of faced with the fact that it's no longer like interesting because it's foreign. It's just normal. And so you're kind of like brought into the world of like, these are the normal people that like listen to K-pop normally and like all that kind of stuff. Being there and experiencing firsthand from some, not necessarily K-pop, but Korean music artists, and kind of behind the scenes stuff a little bit, you realize how the market is extremely oversaturated. It's kind of like the beauty world right now, you know, there's releases 5 times a week. It's no longer a special thing. It's, you feel like you're overwhelmed with like things to purchase. And it's consumerism, it's marketing. And K-pop is the perfect manipulative marketing tool. It's pretty faces, bright colors, sounds nice. There's dancing and, you know, singing and like clothes, and it's the whole thing. And, you know, makeup obviously is a huge part of it. And it's basically the perfect all around things to purchase. Like, they have like movies, and they're in TV shows, and they have like things, albums, and, you know, there's like so many things. And like BTS is like Barbie dolls and like stuffed animals with their faces on them that are like official merchandise that they sell. So it's like they're just constant like stuff. It's not like American artists, where like obviously American artists have like merch, like hats and t-shirts and bags and stickers, where it's just kind of like a cool thing to rep your favorite artist's gear. But in K-pop, it's like the whole economy of Korea is like settled on this like marketing genius tool that is K-pop, which has since taken over the world, so obviously it works. And then when I came back from Korea, things had changed a little bit. I no longer felt like I wanted to go to concerts anymore, and I haven't since then. Just last week, Super M, which is like the SM, kind of like their new unique unit. I don't know if anyone remembers unique unit. I keep saying that and nobody knows what it is. I'm like, oh, I'm officially an old K-pop fan. Just like their new version of that, with like Taemin and like Baekhyun and Kai and like people from NCT. They were literally here last week, and I love like some of those artists like so much, like EXO, SHINee. Those are like, ever since I first got into K-pop, those have been like my favorites. Like, I didn't even care to go see them. Like, I didn't care about not seeing them. And I think that's what happens when you kind of distance yourself from the fandom, when you realize that like super toxic fan that is almost every K-pop fan, when you kind of like come face to face with that reality, it's like you no longer want to be in a place where those people are. And I had lots of friends that were fans of K-pop. That's just naturally a thing that happens when you're in the fandom, in the community, locally. And whenever I would say anything that was like slightly judgmental of like, you know, I'm worried about this idol's weight, you know, do they get fed? Do they sleep? Both of those are no. They'd be like, stop judging them, you know, my bias is my favorite, it's the best. It's like, sometimes you gotta be real, and not a single K-pop fan can be real about what's going on. You want to hear the truth? Idols aren't being paid. They don't sleep, so they're probably gonna die at like 50. Even just recently, this could be a little bit triggering, but if you think about how many idols have committed suicide, and even some that have attempted and then had to put out apologies for attempting. There's a member of Kara, I believe. She attempted suicide, she survived, and she put out an apology. Her company made her put out an apology for attempting to commit suicide. And then recently, Sully, who was from FX, killed herself. A couple of years ago, Jonghyun from SHINee also committed suicide. And these things like in the media for like a week and then they're gone. Like, they don't give a shit that like there's a huge problem going on. South Korea is the #1 country in the world highest suicide rates. That's where your idols are from. That's where the music's coming from. And even if your idols aren't coming from Korea, maybe they're coming from China or Hong Kong. Have you seen the news lately? It's not good. K-pop ends up being just this huge band-aid, and K-pop fans and the fandom are blind to what's behind it. And it's shocking to me that there are just so many fans, and that the fan rate grows exponentially when things just get worse in real life. So, that's why I left the K-pop fandom. I just did that without a mirror, so I don't know if I look a mess. I might. That's part of life. Looking a mess sometimes. If you watch this, I hope you understand. This is kind of like my dipping my toe into the water for making more videos. I just felt like I needed to get this off my chest, and is kind of also the explanation why I won't be making any K-pop related videos in the future. Not about K-pop news, not about music, not about the bands, even though it is the music I'm listening to. I just feel like it's not something that I want to bring to my channel anymore. I would much rather have my channel be about makeup and Minecraft. Yeah, that's that. And yeah, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time.